Well, actually, one of the polls this morning shows that 55% of people would now vote Remain and 45% would vote Leave.
Let's see what tomorrow's one says.
We know what we know that polls are a volatile thing. But the crucial issue here is that as the facts change, as people find out more about the costs, they find out they're not going to be getting that money for the NHS they were promised. If you bought a car and you discovered afterwards it had wonky steering and you didn't get as many miles to the gallon as you thought you were going to get, you'd want to take it back and get a refund. And I think people have the right to change their mind.
Nigel, we were sold a pup. It wasn't what we thought we were going to get. And even if you don't want a second referendum, well, you wouldn't be interested in, Nigel Farage and Aaron Banks saying at least it would shut up the Remoaners.
You're joking. Nothing's going to shut Stephen and his mates up. Nothing.
Not even a second referendum that clearly pointed out...
What else if it was 52-48 again? They'd want a third referendum. It's a never-endum. I'm a little bit like Brenda from Bristol. What? A second referendum? You've got to be joking. I think Britain would go absolutely
Is that because you secretly fear
potty.
you wouldn't clinch it this time
No, but
round,
what I think is that it's a danger to democracy. David Cameron made it absolutely clear, as Stephen knows, in that propaganda leaflet that went to everybody's house. It said right on the back, whatever the British people decide, we're going to carry out. I think it would be really dangerous.
Democracy be dynamic and fluid in a way where actually if the landscape changes to such an extent where, as Stephen was saying, people feel like they weren't necessarily given all the tools to vote in the right way, that we should be able to react to that.
Well, let's make it absolutely clear, and Stephen may be able to help us on this. The Labour Party's policy is not to have a second referendum. That's true, isn't it?
The crucial issue here is that people have the right to change their mind.
I've said that consistently. I don't blame you being confused about the Labour Party
it's not for Nigel to be.
It is very opaque.
There is an ongoing debate in the Labour Party, and there are a range of views amongst Labour voters. Actually, a majority of people who voted Labour the last election want to stay in the European Union. They want to cancel Brexit altogether, and that's certainly what my constituents say.
Stephen, what is your vision then for this second referendum, where everybody then votes Remain, albeit potentially vice majority? This vision of yours, what would then happen? We'd have to go back and say, sorry, we got it all wrong. What kind of position would that leave us in?
Let's be clear. I mean, we're not saying categorically there's going to be a second referendum. I mean, the crucial thing the crucial thing I've always said is that we need to have a vote on the deal in terms of the deal that are put before us. That's one of the things that we've managed to secure now from the government. They didn't want to give it to Parliament. They didn't want to give us a say. It was our way or the highway, the government was saying to us. Actually, there are lots of different ways in which we could go forward in the negotiations, or indeed we could turn back on them altogether and stop the whole process.
To be fair, actually, that's what David Davis is saying. That's what David Davis is saying.
Legally and politically, it's entirely possible for us to stop this process if the British people want us to. And it's certainly possible to take a different route from the very reckless approach I think the government has been taking.
We've had a general election just a few months ago where the Labour Party's policy is
where the government's approach was rejected.
Where we're leaving the Labour Party said we're leaving the European Union. The Conservative Party said we're leaving the European Union. 80% of the people
Theresa May
voted...
lost a majority.
Well, I'm just saying, 80% of the people voted for the two parties that said we're leaving the European Union and we respect the wishes of the British people in a referendum. And I think that's full stop. Can you imagine the uncertainty that would bring about to British business if we were then to embark on another, 6 months of a referendum campaign? And as I say, if it's another 52-48, nothing's going to stop people like Stephen and Lord Adonis and Ken Clarke from banging on about Europe.
Stephen, that's a good question, though. If there was one and it came out with similarly the same amount of sort of percentage between for and against, and it was to leave the EU, would that finally stop you from going, OK, we need to talk about this some more?
Look, this would be as Nigel said, this would be the third referendum. I mean, Nigel Farage himself said if you had 52-48, there would be unfinished business. And I think as the facts have become clearer, particularly about the costs of Brexit, the billions we're going to spend on a divorce bill, the billions that we're going to spend
so it wouldn't satisfy you
on
if there was
preparing for a
another
no-deal
referendum
Brexit.
and we had the same result.
I would be very clear that we need to have a deal that works. You need a deal that works for Britain, and that's not what we've got at the moment. We've got a very reckless approach. The British people's public opinion are changing,
You're not going to get a straight answer from Stephen, but what is achieved is what Nigel Farage wanted. We're all talking about Nigel Farage. He's like one of those fruit machines in a pub. If nobody plays it for 10 minutes, it makes that irritating noise to draw attention to itself, and he's been very successful at it.
He's got 3 bells.
I don't disagree with this Nigel on that either. Nigel Farage is about Nigel Farage is about Nigel Farage. But there is a serious issue here. In that if people see the facts change, they have the right to change their mind. Democracy isn't a one-off process.
No.
People can change their mind.
Well, Tipping, I think think you're absolutely right. Brexit for many is the tipping point, as we've seen this morning. Stephen, Nigel, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Pleasure.